Welcome to Land Academy. I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWit.
We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth.
And sell it on the internet really fast.
We are Jack and Jill,
and this is the Jack and Jill Show too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWit.
Hey there.
Welcome to the show today. In this episode, Jill and I talk about how to buy your next house for half price. Here's a hint. It's the same way we buy all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the LandInvestors.com online community. It's free.
Okay. I love that he uses this name. It's not his real name. I know. But shammgod asks, if you go on LandInvestors, you'll find him here. He asks, a couple of properties I've researched, I've noticed, have extremely low assessed values, sometimes $20, in an area where that's not normal at all. Is this a red flag when that happens? And what would you be looking for? I realize analyzing assessed values isn't necessary.
Very good.
But when it's significantly different from the other properties in the area, I feel like something might be up. Overthinking or a good flag to follow?
At this level, there's no such thing as overthinking how to analyze data. There's overthinking like lots of stuff, but analyzing data, you can't overthink it. And I think that this is a fantastic question. Assessed value, like you said, has nothing to do with the actual value of the property. What you're experiencing when you see, if you have a data set of like-kind properties in a perfect world and the assessed values are all over the map, it's purely for this reason. The assessor or the assessor before him or 13 assessors ago when the county actually incorporated made a mistake. They just overlooked that APN or that, and so it got assessed for $20. It might be a property that's designated nonprofit, so there's no taxes at all. 13 assessors ago, the guy may have decided that the $20 value in that column in the database really meant that it was a nonprofit thing. So they get offers from me, shammgod. When I see that, I disregard it. The only reason that an owner for a property wouldn't get an offer from me when I scrub out data is, number one, it's like a government property, so the owner is not somebody who's going to respond, like the city of X. That's the owner. They don't get a letter from me. And the other reason is property use. I'm famous for not sending offers to industrial property. There are people in our group that's all they do is send offers to industrial property, and they do great. Mm-hmm. So those are the two reasons. Assessed value is not one of the reasons. I hope that answers the question.
I think it's great. Thank you, Jack. If you have a question or you want to be on the show, reach out to either of us on LandInvestors.com.
Today's topic, how to buy your next house for half price. So this is me to the show. So think of it going to a garage sale or to a jewelry store. Even better.
Better. Now you have my attention. Thank you.
And you go to a jewelry store and you see a diamond ring, and they're exact same ring. Two of them right side by side, or as close as they can be. And one's $10,000 and one's $5,000. But they're the same ring. Which one are you going to buy?
Two of the $5,000.
Two of the $5,000. So you buy two of the $5,000 rings.
That's right.
You sell one of them for $10,000.
That's right.
And now the one that you're going to keep is free.
Bingo. That's how I roll.
That's what people in our group do all the time with houses.
Did you know I was going to say that?
No.
Okay, good.
No, I think it's fantastic. Why not get two diamond rings?
That's what I said. Thank you. Yep.
So what do? How do you buy a house for half price? Is this a joke? Are you people nuts? You could never go into a jewelry store and do that, right? No, of course not. Mm-hmm. So how can you do it with houses, which in my opinion is way more important than jewelry anyway? How the hell can you do that? Here's what you do. You get a data set, like our members all have access to the best data on the planet, and it's the same data that we use. You pick a neighborhood that you and your spouse love. If in my case, it's the neighborhood will not get picked by me. It will get picked by my spouse. And then I go to work. I get a finite data set of all the pieces of property in this neighborhood. We live in a town in southwestern California that's got about 1,500 APNs in it total, and that's your data set. Every single one, put them in there, and then go to work on the data. Figure out the properties that you might want to take out. Some of that are too expensive, some of that are maybe too cheap, or they're on a block that for some reason, the purple house block or something like that, where you just don't want to live next to somebody who's got a purple house. Whatever your reason is, grab out the data and send them a letter. And you send them a letter for essentially half of what you think the property is actually worth. Half price might be pushing it, maybe 60, 70%, some number like that. And if your data set's more than 2,000 units or 1,500 to 2,000 units, or you send an offer for more than once, maybe send it 1 week, and you don't get any hits, you send it another week, 2-3 weeks later, soften them up a little, you're going to buy a house.
Can I jump in here now? Okay, so here's my.
Is your spouse going to like it? We're going to find out.
Well, here. This is really how it goes. I was waiting for the front end of this has to be the data. You've got to get that out of the way, because you're either going to win emotionally or you're going to win financially. And in this case, if this is your next home, like your primary residence, you want to have both. So Jack, you got to have Jack's way first. You got to start out first. Yes, you pick the neighborhood because it's got the subdivision, the school district. That's where the friends are. That's the high school they want to go into. We got all that figured out. Where the shopping is and everything. Great. You've done that work together as a couple, if you will. Now, whoever's the data person, for us, it's Jack. Now he goes to work like he just described. So Jack digs in there. I'm not paying any attention at all. I'm letting Jack do his thing. Jack's out there getting all the homes and the prices and the offers and everything that meet his criteria first out of the way. Now what's risen to the top? There's like 3. There's 3 now that meet Jack's criteria based on his numbers. He did the data, and they all financially check his boxes. Now it's time for me. I get to emotionally come in and then pick the 3. And that's how we do it. So then I get to go in and go, all right, these are the 3 that you like. Now I get to go pick the one of the 3 that I like. This one, I like the street, I like the yard. This one, I like the floor plan. This one, I love the pool, whatever it is. And that's how you win.
That's right. Is it that easy? Here's a story. About a year and a half ago, we changed our commercial printer because we found a better one. We found one that was in the 21st century. And recently in a meeting, this has been an incredible, successful relationship with a company called LetterStream. They're a non-consumer company. So essentially, they took us on as a customer, as a B2B customer. And now we dole it out to all of our, we spread the love among all of our members and get that commercial rate of about 50 cents we charge approximately 50 cents to get a letter in the mail, an offer in the mail, and we don't charge for all the help that you might need when you're in the beginning. So recently he said, look, I just got to tell you, we were in a meeting. I just moved. My wife and I just moved with our kids. And I said, well, that's great, man. He said, but I before I met you, I didn't know you could send out letters. I said, Dave, you own a commercial printing company. He said, I know, but I didn't put it all together until I met you and you told us what we do. So my wife has been in love with this one block in our neighborhood. She's like, God, I just love the way the trees are and the whole thing. They bought a house.
I love it.
He said, we didn't necessarily get a smoking deal on it, right, but we bought it for less than it's worth. And my wife's happy. Mm-hmm. She got the house of her dreams, quote unquote.
Right.
So he's like, man, I wish I could give you some kind of endorsement. I said, I'll talk about you on the show.
Yeah.
Plus, we run almost 100,000 with our group. We run almost 100,000 offers nationwide every month through
his company.
Yeah, with an incredible amount of success. Have you ever heard anyone complain about?
Oh gosh, no.
I haven't either, Joe.
Oh my gosh, no.
The printer before this, there were some issues, but
it took a little while. These guys are like same day or next day.
Yeah.
And it's the speed of the commercial processing and all that. I mean, these people, you're getting phone calls back the next week. Not 2 weeks, not 3 weeks, not a month. Like the next week, be ready. Here it comes. You're going to get people calling you back. So what else about, I'm trying to think here. I love Dave's story, and I can't believe that he did it.
Yeah.
So he obviously he has our mailer and everything too. So he kind of had an idea how to do this. So I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same principles. What I've done is applied the exact same old school commercial real estate acquisition principles to residential real estate. Why no one else has done this in its 17? It just baffles me.
Well, you know what I wanted to try? I just remembered what I wanted to say. What I wanted to add was, remember, we're sending out offers to homes that are not yet listed. They're not on the market. What you're trying to do is, as Jack has said before many times, you're looking for a situation, and it works with homes the same it works with property, the same as it works with all kinds of things. You're just trying to smoke out the person that they just happen to get your letter as they just finished talking about it, because they just put their let's talk about this, it's September, they just put their last kid in college, and now they're looking at each other going, what are we going to do with this big house? All 3 of our kids are gone, and I don't know what to do. And next thing you know, your letter arrives. That's what you're looking for.
Or they pull the letter out of a file that you sent them 3 years ago.
True.
That they forgot about, and they're paying the taxes. They pull the file out one day and they say, I wonder if this guy would still want to buy our house for $320,000. Yeah, I know it's worth $400, but geez, it needs to be cleaned up. This needs to happen. I wonder if they just buy it for $300 right now, and we can just go do what we want to do.
Exactly.
There are way more people out there, in my opinion, than investors think. There are so many people out there that would just really be interested. I mean, how many times have you sold something like that, listener?
Oh my gosh.
How many times have you sold a couch that's worth half just to get it out of the house?
Bingo.
Or a car? Or how many times have you had a garage sale?
So just
how many
come
times
get
have you
it.
thrown something away?
Correct.
Or sent it to Goodwill? It's perfectly good stuff. You just don't need it anymore. You don't want to deal with it.
Exactly.
Same thing applies to real estate.
People don't believe that. And the other thing I find that people don't believe is how many homeowners have 100% paid for assets. People don't believe that, and that makes me
51%.
Nuts.
I can answer that.
Thank you.
51% of the people in the country have no mortgage.
Right. Well, it's easy when I go, well, tell me about your parents. Oh, well, yeah, their house is paid off. I'm like, hello, that's who I'm talking about. And they're like, oh.
I have yet to get the stats on how much equity people have in their houses yet with any reliability. Like, I'd like to know, all right, great. So 51%, that's a HUD statistic, by the way. So I somewhat agree with it from the census. I have yet to see a statistic out there that says, all right, so there's 50% of the people who have a mortgage on their house. What's the equity piece? Like, of that half, do half of those, is it like 80% paid off or 50% paid off, or what's the equity piece? I know it's asking a lot. Oh, wait.
We have that data.
We have that data. It's very difficult to deconstruct, but that's the kind of stuff that we're constantly working on here.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, that's available. We have access to that data. If you want to pull, you have to get specific in a certain area, but man, if you want to sit down and within this zip code, I want to know, all right, I want to know not only who has everything paid off, but I want to know everyone who has a mortgage with less than 30% and this type of loan and these details. I mean, we have that.
What you want to try to smoke out, and you have to dig into the documents, unfortunately. It's not already all calculated for you, which is good and bad. The good is that no one's ever done it, I can guarantee you.
Right.
Not even me. If I haven't done it, no one's done it. Dig into the document for each. Let's say you got a data set of 1,000 homeowners, and you have their mortgage documents, which is really easy to get, or what's called a lien report. You can figure it out. You can back into when they did their mortgage and for how much, and then back into how much equity they have. So if their loan originated, I don't want to get too detailed here, but if their loan originated, 15 years ago and they never refied the mortgage or never refied the equity piece, you can pretty accurately calculate what they can afford and make a decision. Why is this important? Because people who have mortgages on their house, they can't make the decision about selling it, regardless of the situation they're in. Exactly. The bank has to. So if it's leveraged or it's a real new loan, or if it's over leveraged, like we've seen over the last 10 years, they don't have a choice. So why spend 50 cents to send them a letter anyway? That's Joe's point. Send it to the people who don't have a mortgage on the house at all.
Exactly.
Pretty simple stuff.
Exactly.
Join us in another episode where we discuss every $1 million of acquisition costs you $5,000 a month in payment. Yikes.
And the next episode will answer Alan B's question about managing terms deals.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
I hope that got some people thinking, because I really hope people start to understand our whole purpose of helping everyone buy property and do it on their own and make more money and cut out the middlemen, and...
Jill, you nailed it earlier in the show, and we don't say this enough. This isn't a sexy business that we're in. This is not. There's a lot of data manipulation. There's a lot of engineering / accounting / STEM type nerd weirdo stuff that goes on to generate a ton of money for you and your family. So, and the people who've been in commercial real estate know this. They've known it since the beginning. That's why they got into it, or it found them, or however that works. So, HGTV, I really think, just gives an incorrect picture about what flipping real estate's all about.
Yeah.
I think they paint this picture like, if you're a good decorator, then you're going to be good at this.
Exactly.
And that's so inaccurate. It's upsetting, actually.
No, I think HGTV is a wonderful tool if you're going to repaint or redecorate, not remodel, redecorate your kitchen, and you want some color ideas or some, things like that to spruce it up. I think it's great for that. But because when you really get into doing remodeling and moving walls and all that good stuff, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of money. And the figures, they don't even give you any figures.
Not anymore.
So I was going to say that, the figures that they portray may or may not be accurate, but they stopped even doing that. You're right. Seems like a couple years ago, you're right, Jack. They used to tell us, bought for this, sold for that. And now they just removed them. And some of them, too, they would follow it all the way through. Like they would say, it was listed for this, and they accepted an offer for X, and so this is what they really made. Now they only would say, well, at the end of the day, they got 3 offers. Okay, well, what happened? They didn't even say.
I bet some lawyers got a hold of that and said, you guys got to stop lying about this.
Oh.
I really think that's what happened.
That makes
some version
sense.
of that.
I was wondering why. I'm like, why are we not sharing numbers anymore? Okay, because someone said those are fluff numbers and you legally can't do that.
Right.
Okay.
Or it's misleading.
True. Very true.
I'm not busting on HGTV at all. It's entertaining. Jill and I
like it.
We watch it all the time.
Well, we were having a discussion the other day too. I'll end with this. Like, I think there's people on HGTV that are more recognized, like, in society than some of the top, musicians or something, because so many people watch this stuff. Mm-hmm. It's really funny. I haven't figured it out. I don't know. It's hilarious.
I don't think anyone's figured it out.
All right.
There's a saying in Hollywood. It goes like this.
Ready.
Nobody knows nothing. It's been around for years.
I love it. Well, on that note, if you know nothing and you still listen to us anyway, hey, please subscribe and rate us on iTunes or wherever you are listening.
You are not alone in your information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and
this was the Cash Flow from Land Show. We are the experts at acquiring property
of all kinds, not just land,
for half price, just so we can flip it for way more.
And really fast. Thanks for listening. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.